Hello everyone. Today we are going to sew the Ibiza blouse available from 3 to 12 years old for children. Ibiza is a flared top with tie straps, perfect for summer. This blouse is as simple as it is quick to make and will be perfect for anyone new to sewing. In this video, we will see together how to gather an element, make and apply a bias, and we will also sew French seams. Regarding the fabrics, in order to guarantee the voluminous effect of this blouse, but also for the comfort of the child, I advise you to use fairly fine warp and weft materials such as poplin, gingham, satin, chambray, linen, double gauze, seersucker, English embroidery, or even viscose. For this pattern, no supplies are mandatory, but you will have the opportunity to add piping, lace, rickrack, or any other decorative element at the neckline, and to use commercial bias for the finishes and the straps if you prefer. Here are two examples of Ibiza blouse that I made. Here in striped seersucker, and here the one we're going to make together in this video in water lily pattern viscose. Ibiza is a very simple pattern, especially in terms of the number of pieces that make it up. Only 3 to be cut twice each. The front and the back, which are identical, 2 small bands for the neckline, and 2 bands for the straps. And as said before, the neckline and suspender bands can be made with commercially purchased bias, which further reduces the number of elements. Regarding the suspender bands cut in our fabric, and unlike the neck bands, it is imperative to cut them on the bias, because this method gives the necessary flexibility to the band to fit well in the rounded armholes. The neck bands do not need to be stretchy since they are assembled on a straight line zigzag. This is what French seams look like, and they are used to create pretty, solid finishes in place of overcasting or zigzag stitches. They are provided on the sides of the garment, which therefore have a seam allowance of 1.2 centimeters instead of 7 millimeters. If you don't want to make them, you can cut your seam allowances by 5 millimeters and assemble the sides in the classic way, placing your pieces right sides together. We will start by preparing our neckline and suspender bands, pots 2 and 3. To do this, we will fold them widthwise and break this fold with an iron. Once finished, we will fold each half in 2 again, a bit like doing origami. You can also use a guide that folds your strips directly to the desired shape like this one. If you use it, you will only have to iron as you go, like me. We will pass 2 gathering threads on the top of the front and back, the first at 5 millimeters and the second at 1 centimeter. To do this, you have to displace your machine by using the longest stitch and the lowest tension. You must also let the thread go beyond without stopping at the beginning and at the end of the seams. For more details, do not hesitate to watch our video on the subject. We start by pinning the middle of the piece by folding it in 2 to help us gather evenly. Then we gently pull the bottom threads and the fabric in opposite directions to gather the fabric. Until the top of our pieces correspond in length to the neckband. We are now going to regularly distribute our gathers in order to obtain a harmonious look. As I told you about at the beginning, you can add a piping, a lace band, or even a rickrack if you wish, and now we will use it. Cut your decorative element to the same length as your neckline and pin it on the right side of your front and/or your back. This element is not gathered. In either case, we will now maintain the gathers and your decoration, if you have any, with a seam without stopping 5 mm from the edge. You can now remove the gather threads by cutting and pulling them. The next steps concern the neckbands. They will be identical whether you use a band in your own fabric or a commercial bias, the same for the straps, which we will see a little later. We are therefore going to pin the neckbands, the pieces 2, on our front and back. We open the strip and pin it on the back of our pieces like this. We will stitch 1 mm from the fold mark all along the strip. We do this to make it easier to return it later. Now it's time to turn the band right side up. We'll iron it to mark the folds. We are now going to top stitch the edge of the strip at 1 mm to fix it. Here is what it looks like with a strip cut by me and with a bias bought on the market. As you can see, the method is the same and the result assembly as well. You could also use a hand slip stitch to hold the bands closed. The slip stitch allows you to have no visible stitches on the place. It is a longer but more discreet method. We are now tackling the French seams on the sides of the blouse. First, we will pin the sides of the front and back wrong sides together. We stitch at 5 mm on both sides. We then iron our seam allowances to lay them towards the back. We now turn our pieces right sides together and repin the sides. This time we prick 7 mm from the edge and we go back. Congratulations! You have made superb French seams, which allow a cleaner finish to your garment. For each of the 2 straps, we will pin the bias on the back of the garment. We start with the middle of the band, which must correspond to the side seam. To find it, I fold my element in half and put a pin in the fold. The protruding pots will serve as straps. As with the neckband, we will sew 1 mm from the fold mark from one end of the armhole to the other. We now turn the bias on the right side of the garment and pin it closed over its entire length after ironing to mark the folds and give it back the shape we want to obtain. We will also fold over themselves the ends like this to obtain a clean finish that will not fray over time. We will top stitch 1 mm from the open edge of the straps over the entire length. We start with one of the ends, where we will make a stitch bar on the width, before continuing to the second end. As for the neckline, you can also make a slip stitch by hand, as seen above, along the entire length of the straps. Don't forget to remove the pins as you sew so you don't risk sewing on them and damaging your machine. As you can see, we now have adjustable straps with a knot and a very nice finish. To finish the bottom of the blouse, we will make a hem, which simply consists of making 2 consecutive tucks. We are now going to fold the bottom of the blouse to 1 centimeter and iron it. Then fold it back to 2 centimeters this time and iron it again. We are going to pin our hem with the heads of the pins down. We do this to be able to access it on the spot easily. We finish the hem by stitching on the place 1.8 centimeters from the edge. You can use a marker with tape or reposition the needle to help you stitch evenly. We finish the stitch in stitch with the beginning of this one, and we make a break point. And there you go. Your Ibiza blouse is now complete. We hope you will be happy with your achievement. If you like this video, please press the like button and subscribe to our channel. We can't wait to discover your versions, so share it on Instagram with #IkatiIbiza. See you soon at Ikati.